Hello and welcome to Bottom Line. Tonight we shall look into the instances of alleged political violence in the Himalayan state of Sikkim. Just when things look like getting back to normal after the recent instances of clash between ruling SKM and the opposition SDF, another incident surfaced, this time from the state's Soreng district. Visuals from the incident suggest that even shots were fired and stones pelted during the altercation between the LS supporters of both parties, that is the ruling SKM and the opposition SDF. According to some accounts, at least 4 SDF supporters, including spokesperson Arun Limbu, suffered injuries in the incident. So why this repeated violence in a state that has been known to be peaceful? Has the law and order situation really taken a toll in the Himalayan state? Are some elements deliberately trying to create the violence as accused by the government? Well, to discuss this and much more, I'm being joined from Gangtok by SDF spokesperson JB Darnal. Also joining me is Mr. Viraj Adhikari, spokesperson of the Hamro Sikkim Party. Political activist Pasang Sherpa is also joining me from Gangtok. But before we go to the panelists, let's listen in to the reaction from both SDF and SKM on Saturday's violence. We'll also have a look at the visuals.
हिंसा और अशांति की राजनीति से परिपक्व जो एसडीएफ पार्टी है, उन्होंने आज हमारे कार्यकर्ता के ऊपर जब कुछ कहासुनी हुई थी सोरेंग के डाड़ा गांव में, तो उस दौरान उन्होंने पेपर स्प्रे निकालकर पेपर स्प्रे से हमारे कार्यकर्ता को प्रहार किया। तो बाद में अगर ये क्यों किया, ये करने की क्या ज़रूरत थी, जब बोला गया तो तब जो एसडीएफ के कार्यकर्ता अविनाश याखा ने रिवॉल्वर निकालकर ओपन फायरिंग किया। जो अभी हिंसा हुआ है, इसका हम जो एसकेएम पार्टी इसका विरोध करती है, खंडन करती है। तो सिक्किम की जो शांतिमय वातावरण है, वो किसी को भी भंग करने का अनुमति नहीं है। सिक्किम की जो शांतिमय सृजना है वो बरकरार होना चाहिए। जो एसडीएफ पार्टी है वो 25 साल से केवल पहले भी हिंसा करती थी और अब भी वो सत्ता से जब बाहर हुई है तो हिंसा करने की प्रयास में है और हिंसा को लेकर वो सत्ता में आना चाहती है। ये कदापि हम होने नहीं देंगे। जो सिक्किम के शांतिमय सृजना है उसको हम बरकरार रखना चाहते हैं। हम कानून के ऊपर पूरा भरोसा करते हैं कि इसका एकदम जोरदार रूप से इसका इन्वेस्टिगेशन होना चाहिए और जो कोई भी इसमें संलग्न है, जो कोई भी इसमें ये हिंसा फैलाने की चेष्टा कर रहा है, उसको कड़ी से कड़ी सजा होना चाहिए।
ताशी जी, हम लोग को रिपोर्ट्स मिल रही है कि सोरेन डिस्ट्रिक्ट में पॉलिटिकल वायलेंस हुए हैं, जहां पे एसडीएफ और एसकेएम के बीच में क्लैशेस हुए हैं। तो इसके बारे में आपको क्या जानकारी है?
अभी हमारे ये कंटिन्यूस में हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी लेवल का मीटिंग हो रहा है, जो कोऑर्डिनेशन मीटिंग है हमारा क्षेत्र स्तरीय है। वहाँ पर हम लोग को वैसे आज तो हमारा फाइनल डे था सोरेंग चकुमा, जो आज हमारे अंतिम लास्ट मीटिंग था। तो हम लोग अपने सभी पार्टी का कार्यकर्ता लोग, लीडर्स लोग, यंग लीडर्स लोग या हमारे सीनियर लीडर के साथ हम लोग जा रहे थे अपनी मीटिंग प्लेस में। तो अचानक मैं तो पहुंचने वाला था, उस टाइम बीच में फोन आया कि सोरेन ने हमारे कार्यकर्ता लोगों, हमारे यंग लीडर्स अरुण लिंबू को बुरी तरह से पिटाई कर दी। एसकेएम के लोगों ने, एसकेएम पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं ने, शायद कार्यकर्ताओं ने किया या कोई बाहर से बुलाया होगा, वो तो पता नहीं हमको।
जी, अभी क्या खबर मिल रही है? परिस्थिति कैसा है वहाँ पे?
अभी तो वहाँ जो बाजार, जो अभी वहाँ का परिस्थिति तो बहुत बुरा है, सुनाई दे रहा है। हमको फोन कर रहा है तो हमारे लीडर्स लोग को, हमारे सभी कार्यकर्ताओं लोग को मैंने डायरेक्शन दिया है कि यार, तो हम लोग सलाह करके आप लोग बच के रहे कहाँ वहाँ पर रहे। शायद हम लोग अभी बाद में कोऑर्डिनेशन मीटिंग करके क्या करना पड़ेगा उसके बाद हम बताएंगे आपको।
जी, एसकेएम के तरफ से कितने लोग थे और आप लोगों के कितने लोग थे वहाँ पे जब ये क्लैशेस हुआ, और क्लैशेस में क्या डैमेज हुआ या क्या इंजरी हुआ, आप हमें बता सकते हैं?
हाँ, एसकेएम के लोगों से 200 और 300 बंदे थे, लेकिन हम लोग तो, हमारे तो कार्यकर्ता लोग अपने अपने जगह से, कोई पूर्व जिला से आ रहा है, कोई पश्चिम जिला के बहुत निर्वाचन क्षेत्र है इधर वो से आ रहे हैं। तो हम लोग तो जा रहे थे। मैं तो थोड़ा वो पहुंचने वाला था वहाँ पर, शायद 3-4 किलोमीटर आगे था। तो मेरे एक दोस्त ने फोन किया तो बोला कि यहाँ पर तो कचरा हो गया, आप थोड़ा वहाँ पर रुकिए। नहीं तो फिर आपको भी पत्थर मारेगा। वो लोग तो छुरी लेके रॉड लेके बैठा हुआ है, तो इसीलिए मैं रुक गया।
जी, और क्या खबर मिल रही है? लोग कितने इंजर्ड हुए वहाँ पे और क्या परिस्थिति है?
अभी खबर, अरुण लिंबू नामक एक युवा, हमारा युवा नेता है, आ, उसको बुरी तरह से इंजोर कर दिया है, बुरी तरह से पिटाई कर दी। और हमारा एक युवा लीडर है रंजिंग भुटिया बोल के, वो अभी मिसिंग है। और एक अविनाश याखा बोल के हमारा लीडर है, वो भी अभी मिसिंग है। तो हम वो गाड़ी को पूरी तरह से पत्थर से मार के बर्बाद कर दिया।
जी, पुलिस प्रशासन पहुंचे वहाँ पे स्पॉट पे अभी?
मैं अभी डिस्ट्रिक्ट कलेक्टर सोरेंग से बात की, तो वो हम लोग एश्योर कर रहे थे कि पुलिस प्रशासन पुलिस दे रहे हैं। तो फिर वो तो पुलिस प्रशासन के सामने ही हुआ वो सभी। तो जितना गाड़ी तो फोड़ हुआ, हमारे उद्देश्य से हमारा एक सीनियर लीडर है, उसको गाड़ी को भी पत्थर मारा है।
These are, of course, reactions from Saturday when the incident took place. You heard both the SKM and the SDF leaders, obviously each of the parties blaming the supporters of their rivals for the entire incident. We'll go straight to Mr. Pasang Sharpa, political activist who is joining us from Gangtok. Mr. Sharpa, welcome to Bottom Line. What is happening in Sikkim? What is happening? A peaceful state, and of late we have had several instances of violence. What is the reaction of the masses and what is happening?
The people of Sikkim are really worried about the kind of development that's happening in Sikkim right now, and it is rare to see such incident increasing day by day. And the people of Sikkim, we are worried about the political clashes happening every now and then. Though it is not even an election time, but the kind of violence that is erupting in Sikkim is very disappointing and a great concern to us. And we are just in the sense like we are hoping that the administration will be more vigilant now onwards, because so far the administration, their actions has also been under radar, under suspicion that this all the police administration is working on behest of a political party who is in the ruling front. So the situation is really tense, and people are apprehensive about the security of their own, since these issues are growing day by day. So yes, we have a major concern looming around us.
Major concern. Mr. Viraj Adhikari of Hamro Sikkim, what is your observation of things, sir?
Regarding what?
The current situation in Sikkim, the instances of violence, so-called political violence. What is your observation of
Okay.
things?
No, see, I mean, the law and order situation in Sikkim has really been going down, and now it has reached the point where people are using firearms and gunshots. But, like, the thing is, the deterioration has been continuous over the last 30 years. And since we get no publicity and like nothing, so nobody in the country knows about us, so we'll have to put a stop to it, I mean, some way possible.
So, are you trying to say in a way that this kind of political violence, in a way nothing new has happened during the SDF's rule as well?
Yes. I mean, definitely it was. I mean, this sort of things used to happen even more during the STF times. But this time, unfortunately, it was the STF guy who fired the shots. Otherwise, he would have got, I think, bashed up very badly. And he did it for self-defense, basically. So, but the thing is, like, a party which comes to power should realize all these things, that, they were put down during when they were in the opposition, and not do all these things, and or at least try and bring it down. Out here we have a problem. Even our police force seems to be slightly, like, not very active, or let us say that they do not stand by the rule of law in Sikkim.
These are very big statement. We did try to get someone from the SKM to the show, but of course, most of the leaders were busy. Apparently, we were told couldn't get anyone from SKM. Coming back to you, Mr. Pasang Sharpa, can we only blame the ruling party for the violence? Of course, the law and order situation, maintaining the law and order is a prerogative of the government. No denying to that. But here there are allegations also against the SDF. Of course, we will shortly be joined by the SDF spokesperson. We'll pose this question to him as well. But here there are allegations that elements from outside are being brought in to deliberately create disturbance.
Yes, it is not just the ruling party. It's both the opposition and the ruling party are in hand in gloves in this kind of And I was speaking to the media yesterday, and my statement was that both of these political party wants to create some kind of unrest in Sikkim. Okay, so both of our leaders, the political leaders, are totally surrender or succumb to the pressure of the central government or the central agencies, and these people, both of them, the political leaders of both the SKM and SDF party are to be blamed for such kind of violence, because as you see, like recently during the course of state assembly session, there were people caught from outside who were roaming around with arms in their possession. So where some amount of suspicion was gone towards Sikkim Democratic Front, the main opposition party, and now SKM also. Both of them have come from the same school of thought in politics. So SDF also, in some amount of violence they have done since 1993 onwards, when they floated their party and stood for the election. And coming now, the violence has increased rapidly. Before also there used to be, but the kind of violence that's happening around in Sikkim, for last 2 to 3 months, every week or every 2-3 days there is some kind of political violence. So both the opposition and the position, both Sikkim Krantikari and Morcha and Sikkim Democratic Front are equally responsible in these incidents.
All right, we have with us Mr. J.B. Darnal of the SDF as well. Welcome, Mr. Darnal. Well, another incident of violence. What is your first reaction? Of course, your party has condemned. We have heard your leader, Mr. Chamling, saying that the next election will be his last election, and it will be an election to save Sikkim. But the ruling party says that even you are equally responsible for the situation, bringing in elements from outside to create trouble. What is your reaction to that? क्या कहना चाहेंगे आप?
ये सरासर गलत बात है। ये जो भी महानुभाव, ये जो भी आदमी है, जो भी विशेष व्यक्ति ये बात बोल रहे हैं, ये सरासर गलत बोल रहे हैं। आज के तारीख में जब से एसडीएफ पार्टी सत्ता से बाहर हुए हैं, एसकेएम पार्टी सत्ता में गए हैं, तब से आज तक एसडीएफ पार्टी ने किसी को कुछ किया, किसी को कुछ मारा, किसी का रास्ता रोका, तो जितना बार रोका एसडीएफ पार्टी को रोका, जितना बार मारा एसडीएफ पार्टी को मारा, जितना बार पुलिस ने पकड़ के जेल में डाला एसडीएफ वालों को डाला है। तो कैसे बोल सकता है कोई भी व्यक्ति, ये कैसे बोल सकता है कि एसडीएफ और एसडीएम बराबर रिस्पॉन्सिबल है? ये जो बोल रहे हैं बायस बात बोल रहे हैं, ये गलत बात बोल रहे हैं।
लेकिन ये भी तो सही है कि ठीक है, सेल्फ डिफेंस में चलाया है, ये आपका कहना है, लेकिन जो गोली चली है, शॉट्स फायर्ड, वो एक एसडीएफ के कार्यकर्ता के बंदूक से ही चली थी। क्या इसको हम डिनाई कर सकते हैं कहीं ना कहीं?
नहीं, गोली तो मतलब ये बात बोल दो कि अब अभी के तारीख में एक ही बंदा क्या गोली कोई चलाए, कुछ चलाए, जो दूसरी बात है। सिक्किम की हालत अभी ऐसी है कि कोई भी आदमी सुरक्षित नहीं है। लोग चाहते हैं कि अपने सुरक्षा के लिए ये तो किसी के पास बंदूक हो सकता है, जिसके पास बंदूक ना हो वो भी कुछ ना कुछ लेके चलने की स्थिति बन रही है आज की तारीख में। सिक्किम में एक आदमी, मैं और आप ही तकलीफ में नहीं है, पूरा स्टेट तकलीफ में है यहाँ पर। अभी क्या आपका कोई चैनल वाला आकर कोई रिपोर्टिंग किए हैं आपने करी यहाँ पे? तो हर एक आदमी डरता है, घर से निकलने से आदमी डरता है। ये नॉर्थ ईस्ट में कोई किसी जमाने में नॉर्थ ईस्ट की किसी दूसरे स्टेट को लोग बोलते थे कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट में बहुत कम वायलेंस होता है, झगड़ा होता है, आदमी मारता है, गोली निकल जाता है, बम फेंक जाता है बोलते हैं। तो सिक्किम में तो हर एक रास्ते पे, हर एक टर्निंग पे ये लोग पत्थर मार रहे हैं। अगर उसके जगह पर आप होते तो आप क्या करते?
यहाँ पे हमारे दूसरे पैनलिस्ट हैं, उनका ये भी मानना है कि वायलेंस जो है एसडीएफ के रूल के टाइम भी हुआ है, हाईलाइट हो रहा है अभी नेवरदलेस, लेकिन एसडीएफ के टाइम से ही पॉलिटिकल वायलेंस जो है चलता आ रहा है। इट्स नथिंग न्यू। मे बी सिंस द लास्ट 2 मंथ्स, पिछले 2 महीने से थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो रहा है वायलेंस। जो एक है कि सिक्किम, जो एक एसडीएफ भी कहना चाह रही है कि सिक्किम जो है अभी एकदम लॉ एंड ऑर्डर एकदम खराब हो गया है, पहले बहुत अच्छा था एसडीएफ के टाइम में। पैनलिस्ट का ये भी मानना है कि एसडीएफ के टाइम से भी कुछ हद तक वायलेंस होता आया है।
अरे जो भी वो जो जेंटलमैन वो बात बता रहे हैं, एसटीएफ के जमाने में एसटीएफ को 20 साल तक बाहर रह के विरोध करने वाला आदमी मैं हूँ। आज एसटीएफ पार्टी का प्रवक्ता हूँ मैं। 1999 से लेकर 2019 तक मैं एसडीएफ से बाहर बैठा हूँ। 2 बार मैं कांग्रेस पार्टी से चुनाव लड़ा हूँ और मैं भंडारी साहब के साथ बैठ के 20 साल तक एसडीएफ को विरोध किया मैंने। तो मैं जानता हूँ ना कि एसडीएफ के जमाने में वायलेंस ज्यादा था या एसकेएम के जमाने में वायलेंस ज्यादा था। 2 महीने से नहीं, 3 साल से सिक्किम में वायलेंस हो रहा है। इसकी प्रत्यक्ष गवाही मैं हूँ।
Mr. Biraj Adhikari, well, it's not election time in Sikkim. Let's face it. It's not assembly elections time. Why do you think is the political situation still volatile? Why do you think such incidents, if we see, happen in the run-up to an election? This is first. Secondly, in such a situation, what do you think is the role for say parties like yours, the Hamro Sikkim Party?
Okay, see, the problem in Sikkim is people write a lot of things in their manifestos, get elected, and they do nothing about those manifestos, but they use violence to stifle the opposition parties. Yeah, and it's been going on for a long time. The speaker before me, Mr. Darnal, he himself was a victim. I think they cut his fingers off or something, and he knows what I'm saying. But the thing is, if we have to stop it, Hamro Sikkim Party, we've got under this because our main thing is that there has to be rule of law in Sikkim. We cannot go on like this endlessly. And all our the governments which are coming into power should consider themselves to be under the rule of law. Here, what is the problem we have is the moment you get elected, you are expected not even to
All right,
that you are allowed to do whatever you want. That is not what we want, and we want to stress that the rule of law should rule in Sikkim and nothing else.
Mr. Pashank Sherpa, do you think some or the other the development issues are taking a hit due to this political situation which continues to hit headlines?
Sorry, I didn't get it.
Yeah, I'm saying, well, as people, as the media, as everyone talks about these cases, instances of political violence, do you think somewhere or the other the real issues, the people's issues, development issues are taking a hit?
See, the actual reason you talk about it, the actual reason for all this violence is because they have not been able to, deliver any promises given to the people of Sikkim. Number one, for last 3 years, not a single political issues have been touched. The crux issues of Sikkimese people, development, left alone development, they have not been able to provide the basic amenities like electricity and water in the, many areas. The electricity, water things are getting disturbed. And secondly, recently, if you have heard about it, that MCX scam of around 46,000 crores. this scam has brought a lot of apprehensions, and the talks are going on among the masses about the people behind, the reason behind, and the apprehensions of diluting the old laws protected under Article 371 F of the Constitution. So to divert attention from all these bigger issues, since every issues the ruling party is facing is somewhere it's connected with the old political party which is in the power for last 25 years. As Mr. Biraj Adhikari was rightly pointing out, that the spokesperson of SDF party who is claiming that there was no violence in the state for a long time was himself the victim of SDF violence. So he cannot rule out that. Nevertheless, today we are facing all these issues because the people's issues have taken backstage, and there are huge, uh, differences among the people. They have resentment among the people against the government, against the political party, and to divert that attention towards something else, they are creating this scene of violence where both these political parties are equally involved and responsible.
If I can go back to Mr. JB Darnal, Mr. Darnal, well, जो भी ये वायलेंस हो रहा है और ये इंस्टेंसेस जो देखने को मिल रहा है, कहीं ना कहीं क्या आपको लगता है एसकेएम डिस्पाइट सिक्किम जो है बिल्कुल ऑपोजिशन लेस माना जा सकता है, इन अ वे ऑपोजिशन है बट इट्स नेग्लिजिबल इफ आई मे से दैट विद ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट, बट डू यू थिंक डिस्पाइट दैट एसकेएम कहीं ना कहीं अभी भी जो है एसडीएफ से डर रही है?
हाँ दूसरा क्या, एक बार प्लीज एक बता दीजिए मेरा क्वेश्चन प्लीज।
जी, मैं कह रहा हूँ ये जो जितने भी इंसिडेंट्स हो रहे हैं लगातार पॉलिटिकल वायलेंस के, अगर हम सिक्किम की बात करें तो बिल्कुल अगर कहा जाए तो ऑपोजिशन लेस हो चुकी है विद ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट। जो नंबर्स है आपके असेंबली में नंबर्स बता रहे हैं कि बिल्कुल इट्स नियरली ऑपोजिशन लेस, डिस्पाइट दैट ये हो रही है, तो कहीं ना कहीं क्या आपको लगता है एसकेएम इज स्टिल थोड़ा सा डर रही है एसडीएफ से?
एसडीएफ, हाँ ये तो सही बात बोले आपकी। एसकेएम पार्टी जो डरता है वही झगड़ा करता है, इसीलिए एसकेएम पार्टी से डर के ये लोग कहीं पे भी हो ये तो मतलब पॉलिटिकल डेमोक्रेटिक भी यही होता है, जो जिससे डरता है उसी को उसके ऊपर हमला करता है, अटैक करता है। इसीलिए एसकेएम वाले रोज मतलब चुनाव के दूसरे दिन से मतलब जिस दिन ये वोट काउंटिंग हुई थी उसके दूसरे दिन से और उसी दिन से एसडीएफ पार्टी के ऊपर हमला कर रहे हैं ये लोग। और वो मतलब ये जेंटलमैन बोल रहा था कि एसडीएफ और एसडीएफ बराबर मतलब जिम्मेवार होते हैं। मैं बोल रहा हूँ, एक बात बता दूं आपको, 2009 की जो चुनाव थी उससे पहले एसडीएफ सही मतलब सत्ता में थी, उस वक्त हम लोग कांग्रेस के बैनर पे हम लोग विपक्ष में था। तो भंडारी साहब को ऊपर ऐसी अटैक तो बार बार होते थे, तो जब तक आज के एसकेएम वाले के गुट जो है, जब तक ये लोग एसडीएफ पार्टी में थे, आपके चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब भी एसडीएफ पार्टी में थे, उस वक्त इसी तरह की वायलेंस एसडीएफ पार्टी वाले करते थे। तो जिस दिन आपके चीफ मिनिस्टर श्रीमान टीएस बोले कि ने एसडीएफ पार्टी त्याग दिया, एसडीएफ पार्टी से दूसरे पार्टी के ऊपर हमला करना बंद हो गया था। भंडारी साहब के ऊपर 2009 में लास्ट अटैक हुआ था, उसके बाद भंडारी साहब के ऊपर कभी अटैक नहीं हुआ। ये मैं पुरानी बात आपको समझा दे रहा हूँ। और ये लोग डरते हैं, तो ये लोग बोलते हैं कि चामलिंग साहब असेंबली नहीं जाते हैं। तो जब असेंबली जाते हैं तो असेंबली जाते वक्त भी ये लोग रास्ते में जहाँ पर 144 लगा हुआ हो, असेंबली की इतनी बड़ी सेंसिटिव जगह होते हो, उसी जगह पर भी ये मतलब एसकेएम वाले एक सिंगल एमएलए के ऊपर अटैक करते हैं। तो सिक्किम में लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की नाम की चीज बताई कहाँ है यहाँ पर?
अब इसका जो एसकेएम का जो कहना है कि वो ये है कि एसडीएफ जो है, एसडीएफ लगातार कोशिश कर रही है सरकार को गिराने की, और इसलिए ये डिस्टर्बेंस आउटसाइड एलिमेंट्स को लाके डिस्टर्बेंस क्रिएट कर रही है। ये लगातार यही मेंटेन किया एसकेएम ने, आउटसाइड एलिमेंट्स।
एसकेएम वाले को गिनती नहीं आता है क्या? मिस्टर चांदिंग अकेला एमएलए बाहर बैठा हुआ है, इनके पास मतलब 95% एमएलए इनके पास है। तो क्या एसकेएम वाले खुद अपने एमएलए के ऊपर भरोसा नहीं करते हैं क्या? जो सरकार वाले हैं वो अपने एमएलए के ऊपर भरोसा नहीं करते हैं क्या? उसके एमएलए के ऊपर भरोसा नहीं है तो उसके एमएलए बढ़ा के किसी दूसरे जगह जा सकते हैं। हमको तो कोई जरूरत नहीं है सरकार गिराने की। 2-3 साल चला गया, अब 2 साल बचा हुआ है। 2 साल बाद जाते जाते ये लोग तो खुद अपने आप गिरने वाले हैं। जनता ने ये लोगों को छोड़ दिया है। जितने झूठ बोल के सरकार में आए थे, आज तो सिक्किम का एक बंदा भी इनको कोई भाव नहीं देता। किसका नहीं है इनको? इनके पास गुंडे हैं, इनके पास इनको पुलिस को, जब ये पार्टी वर्कर की तरफ पुलिस को यूज करते हैं ये लोग। आज के तारीख में मास पीपल क्या है इनके पास?
मिस्टर
इनके ये आप नहीं तो कल ये गिरी जाने वाला सरकार है। 24 में तो अपने आप फूट जाएगा ये।
Okay, coming with Mr. Pasang Sherpa, again,
Yes.
don't you think it's a kind of strange situation where there is virtually no opposition, there's virtually no opposition at all in a state, and still we are witnessing political violence, even though the elections we cannot say are around the corner. Don't you think it's a strange situation?
Yeah, it is because see, the political situation of Sikkim have remained volatile since right after the 2019 election, because the winning margin was very thin, and after that the BJP also took initiative and took 12 MLAs of Sikkim Democratic Front in a way to safeguard their own boss from different agencies and different investigative agencies. And here the political leader of SKM party, the corruption case and the subsequent verdict and his punishment, and after that there was he did not contest 2019 elections, and after that he contested assembly election by election, but again there were some court case going on against him. So the political situation has remained volatile throughout. The temperament has remained alive, and to add to the injury, the ruling party basically added so many problems to the already existing problems. So people are not happy. See, this is a sort of frustration also among the people, which is creating this kind of violence incident across the state. And if I would like to add here about the administration of police administration of the state, it is totally collapsed. They are working completely in the behest of the ruling party, their leadership, and nobody is coming up in the sense like being accountable to the things. Because this, I would like to mention it here, that this particular meeting of Sikkim Democratic Front party, it was the police administrator who gave permission to allow the loudspeaker. Okay, but when the incident happened, there was no police personnel in the on the site, and they were the intelligence. Also, the intelligence failure is also one of the prime reason, I guess, for Sikkim police to look into. Because it is their duty. The political party do have differences, and on grassroots level, the political rivalry becomes an individual fight, So to avoid that, to prevent that, it is the responsibility of the police department. It is the responsibility of the state intelligence. So what we see is, we see the failure of intelligence of the state, as well as the police department is completely failing in doing its duty towards its citizen.
Mr. Viraj Adhikari, do you think this is the time for the Hamro Sikkim to reach out to the people of the state? You tried that last time round. Electorally, the party has not been successful, very successful. But do you think this is the time when you reach out to the people of the state, spread your message, and is your party grabbing this opportunity?
Yes, because there is a lot of things to be changed in Sikkim. like somebody was earlier gentleman was saying, see, in Sikkim is the only state in this country, okay, which passes a budget in 2 minutes there in the assembly. So that is the value most of these parties who are ruling Sikkim, they give value to the assembly, you know. The thing is, we have to stop all this and bring back a rule based on law and order somehow. Yeah, and FSP party has been fighting on those lines. And yes, last election things, like there was a lot of interference from many quarters, so it didn't go off that well. But we haven't given up. We are still in contact with the people. We are going to the people, and our only promise to them is we have to do something. Because if you look at democracy in general, no party in this country can rule for 25 years like happened in Sikkim with the SDF party. Because the violence was one of the main things which the SDF party used in the first two terms, and then after that they smashed all the opposition, and then now we got this new government. Okay, and this is also a faction of the old SDF government. So there is been, we were expecting it to change a lot. In fact, the Hamro Sikkim party, in fact, gave this present government, though they had given in their manifesto that they'll do things within 1 year. So we said, no, it might be just a political thing. We've got a person out after 25 years. So let us give government a chance. And, instead of 1 year, let us give them 2 years, even 3 years. But now it looks like nothing is going to be done. And this is very, very, and there are very sensitive things like with Mr. Sherpa took out recently, including Article 371F, okay, which is our special provision in the Constitution to protect the Sikkimese people to a large extent. But right now, I'm sure all of these party guys will agree that about 90% of 371F has been eroded already. Okay, it's been violated. And it has been violated blatantly. So, there was an old, when in 1975, somebody, MP in the parliament had talked about, the Sikkimese people being exploited, because that is when Sikkim joined the Indian Union. And that time he had raised this thing in the parliament saying that the Sikkimese people will be subjugated, the Sikkimese people will be exploited, and the Sikkimese people will face a lot of problems, regarding all this, all this taxation stuff. Right now you must be knowing $8 billion. Can you imagine? $8 billion was traded in 1 month, yeah? Because Sikkimese people, according to the Income Tax Act of this country, Sikkimese people are they don't have to pay income tax. But just because the Sikkimese people are very, very humble and they do not know about the real world as
Yes,
such.
and the Chief Minister did order a prompt probe into that. That is there. Pasan Sherpa, your message to the government and the political parties. Any message?
To the government and the political party, we may have our political differences and ideological differences as far as politics is concerned. But when we talk about Sikkim, Sikkim is a peaceful state, and the people of Sikkim are peaceful people, and they are always against the violence, any form of violence. Since Sikkim, from time immemorial, we have always been trying to be remain compassionate, peaceful throughout. The political parties and the government also should not try to, spoil this image of Sikkim globally, where we are recognized as a peaceful state on many occasions. And we have delivered that. Because of that, we are economically also we are thriving, and we are on the developmental, progress. But if the political parties start playing politics on terms of violence, then the state will certainly ruin. So before you calling yourself a member of a political party, every political members, the main people are not the leaders. Leaders are not coming into the street and fighting. It is the people, it is the karyakarta, it is the grassroots people who are fighting amongst each other. So these grassroots people of our state should understand, in fact, of anywhere, they should understand that they are Sikkimis first and any political guy second.
Absolutely.
So if they think, if they have that in their mind, then we will have better days.
Absolutely. That's a very important point that you've made. The Sikkim is first and belong to any party later. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Viraj Adhikari and Pasang Sherpa, for your valuable inputs. We hope that peace prevails in the Himalayan state.